So this is a day after Gimbal's died. Great. Hello YouTubies! We are back. Part 2 of making a custom bonnet or hood. Pretty cold in the garage again. So the mission today, we're going to make some sort of boxing framing for the scoop that's going to run down what will be the right hand side looking at the car into the air scoop. Now on this side where we've got the vents, we're going to put some mesh on those, and we are going to very much be making it up. But I think I've got a bit of an idea, and we're going to do some experiments and see what we can do. As always, this is the Temu Max Power build. The whole point of this is, in essence, how cheaply can you build a Max Power-esque spec kind of car. So we're going to be looking for what we can recycle, what we can reuse, what we can repurpose in the garage, and keeping a track of all of the other bits that we need to or have to buy. So far, unless you want to count consumable things like a few millimeters of a cutting disc, we are at £2.50. So let's see how we get on. Stay tuned. So I've already got a little bit of an idea of what we want to do on this side. I want to do this one first because this is going to be the hardest. They are going to be a lot easier. On this side, we need to put something down the side to kind of hold this where it's going to go. Excuse me. And then ultimately, then look at tidying up with body filler where we've got lines and things. So, cardboard aided design. This is the shape that I need to make. I've got some metal, but that's going to take a bit more time and skill that maybe I don't have. So what I'm going to try first, plastic. I'm going to cut the pieces out of this piece of spare sort of guttering that we've got, because that will do the job that we need it to. It will also never rust. And then maybe just try and make sort of a profile out of that, and then JB weld it on or something to that degree. So it won't take too long, be worth having a go for, might solve the issue, and then don't have to worry about being any more complicated. So let's cut some plastic. I'll do my absolute best to show this to the camera, but I've been seen cleaning up some stuff and just having a little play with some of the shapes. There's a couple of little profiles just been putting this piece moving back and forth to the bench grinder, and this is going to fit in right there. So pretty happy with that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fashion a way to hold it in place, stick some, I don't know, a blob of JB weld on it. Let's try that, see if we can get it held. And eventually I'll go around like all the seams, but just want to kind of get that in place, and then I can start building the rest of it off. That is ultimately what I'm going for. And when it's all done, we'll come around these edges and be able to shape it out. So, back around the front of the car, I've put the bonnet back on, wanted to check that it's happy, nothing's impacting. You've seen now that we've JB welded in these sides. That's just to create the rigidity, I suppose, and just keep that where we're going to want it. The scoop will go on there. Probably not worth me doing that just yet, for a couple of reasons. Partly because I'm waiting on some fiberglass resin stuff, because I'm not going to just trust the tape that came with it. It was £2.50. I'm quite happy with it, lines up nice. pain in the butt trying to put a bonnet or a hood on just by yourself, so don't want to be taking it off too many times because that was not fun. What we're going to do next is the next and last kind of decoration for the bonnet that actually has some function in my case. We've got some bonnet pins, and I've got no idea how well this camera is seeing this. Now on this is their 12,000 yen, which today I've checked is about £62, which would be 80 something dollars-ish if you're in America. I didn't pay that for them. I paid £12.50. So it goes on the high-tech sheet we've got, keeping the actual what we're buying costs here. And this is going to solve a problem for me. There's something I don't like about this bonnet. Every time it closes, you need the key to open it, which for me often means going around there and then getting the key again. And you have to do this weird back and forth and open. And there we go. I'm not going to need to do that with these. I'm just going to take the catch out of there. So they will have some function, as well as I always think these look cool. So I'm going to work out where they're going to go and get these installed and cut. I may not screw them in yet. It may make more sense to do that after I've wrapped it, or make it easier to wrap. But I am also very guilty of getting excited, so they might just end up on here. Let's see what the next period of time holds. Rightio, so to do this, I'll come to this in a second. This is quite helpful. Didn't have that last time I've done this on a car. You have a pin. It's going to go in the body frame here somewhere. That's going to dictate where ultimately you can hold the bonnet or the hood shut. You're going to cut a hole through, and then you're going to place this part on top, and ultimately press this button. That comes out, pulls out this latch here. I'm hoping you can see, which would go through that hole, and that's what holds the bonnet down, and these screw into the bonnet. Has to be dictated by where they're going to be mounted, which under here is not so friendly, but something that is really nice, because the size of the hole I need to cut will be the bottom of this, which marking wouldn't be the easiest job. This might be by design. This would feel very Japanese and useful to me, but also it might be a happy accident. These could be great templates for that shape, because this is coming off the packaging, so I've just ripped that so it's flat, and I'll use that to give myself a stencil of where we need to cut. So, do this awkward business, not for much longer. Who said mods can't be practical? I'm going to now go ahead and work out where I can get here. This is one bit I probably do want an element of symmetry for, and if I can, I want to come through like nice pieces of the bonnet so it's going to be secure, because this is what's going to be holding it. Just in case I upset any alarm or anything, I'm probably going to leave that latch alone and just cut that piece off that connects into it. And that will solve my problem of having to need the key to open it. I've got keys to lock them should I ever be inclined to, in case somebody wants to steal this awesome, powerful engine or something. Now here, these sort of places would be very logical, but I've got this intake scoop for the air conditioning. Let's have a play and see what we come up with. So I think I've had a little idea of how I'm going to do this. Anyone who's seen any videos on the 986 mods will know I like reversible, which is this car. The cut vents and stuff is definitely not about. But there are these two little kind of bump stops for the bonnet here, and the hood pins came with these. They're slightly harder, but they're still softer than metal pieces. So I think rather than like drill some holes in and make things difficult, especially with this thing still throwing me off where I want to be, I'm thinking I've already removed this one. They just screw out. I can mount that in there, put the nut in the back, put it up, tighten it, drop that on top. Well, not drop that on top. I have that under there because the bonnet will still sit on that piece potentially. It won't, because the hole will be bigger. It would have to be so precise for those. Not gonna work. Now, I honestly don't know what this is about. I've encountered this at the back because I've already put the better of the two bumpers I've had on. Well, this isn't going to win me over, Ford, but these weird little plastic screws that just disintegrate the minute you touch them with anything. But why is a screw or a bolt made of plastic? I can't get these out. I'm giving them leverage from the back with the other screwdriver. I've got to twist it carefully because the screwdriver starts melting it and they just spin in place. So these are almost definitely just going to get ripped out and replaced with cable ties because they are not worth the effort. Anyway, I'm looking to just get this out of the way and see what we're playing with here because I still can't decide exactly where the pins are going to go. But I needed to share that. Anyone got any other feeling about these, or like what's the crack with them? Why is it plastic? Other than cost, it's Ford, but it makes no sense. Chocolate teapot. Right. I've had a genuinely fair crack at trying to do these properly. So insert the SpongeBob. 20 minutes later. There's going to be some people quite unhappy with this, but how many of these are there? 4. Well, what are these things? I apologise if you can't quite see what I'm doing. This is the darkest corner of the garage. It's too cold to be bothering having the door open and the car outside. Problem solved. Might not pick this up too well on the camera. I found a spot here where I'd like to put it. Gavin, I've taken off the scoop for the air conditioner. It's literally just a scoop, nothing more important, and I'll reroute that when I'm done. This is obviously a priority. We don't need function here. The other hole lands just at the edge of this gap here to be, same from the centre, same from the top. I think I can make that work. So we're just going to go for it. There's no radiator directly under there or anything, whereas here I've got to deal with that. That just seems to make the most sense. And then we'll work out where they end up there after. And if it's no good, then we move them. Drill some holes. Look, you can now see what we're going for. I'll have to do a whole load of adjustment to bring them up, and don't worry about them not being quite even yet. The holes for the actual hood pin latches are relatively large, frankly, so I've got a lot of playroom with this. So gonna do a bit of fandangling and adjustment, and then we'll be cutting bigger holes. And knowing that's where they've landed, I'm actually gonna be quite happy with that. We'll just decide how we mount the actual clippers. So didn't bother filming all the filing because it's boring and the noise is horrendous. But after cutting out the best I could and then just used the file, one with a one side of it's flat edge, one of it's round, made the holes. You can see you've got the pins in. They don't sit quite perfectly yet because they will have a bit of flex being a bit plastic when we put the bolts in that hold them. Not going to do that yet though because I don't want to be drilling through the wrap, and it'll be easy to wrap it without them in. So we'll go and mark the holes and drill them for where those bolts are going to go. Probably call that job done for now until we wrap. We're trying something a bit new with the audio. Recommendation from a friend. I did struggle over in this corner, particularly. Camera's got to be over there. So bear with us. We'll work out all these kinks as we go. I do this. I don't do all this so much. Off camera, sanded all around here. And as the instructions for the scoop said, the area is now well crammed. Remove the adhesive. Don't trust the adhesive that's on here. It was never going to be good enough for me. I always want something a bit more mechanical. However, there isn't the opportunity to do it with this piece. Also removed the front part of the scoop from there because it doesn't quite work with the design. So this is going to get stuck on. We're going to go mix up a little bit of epoxy, put it all around the edge. Alright, I'm going to sand it all and make it nice after, because then the next part of what we do with the bonnet is going to be go and put some filler and stuff. So it's all going to be sanded, and then some of it will be painted. I've had an idea. Now, never wrapped a car before, so when it comes, like a full car anyway, when it comes to wrapping it, want to make the job as easy as we can. Right. Voila. I want to make it as easy as we can. Not sure I like that lip. So what I've decided I'm going to do, still might mesh this side, not entirely sold yet, but I'll sand off the bonnet, I'll prime it, and I'm going to paint these parts black, because then, like a nice glossy black, and then whatever colour I do the car, I'll have the wrap end at the edge, and they can be black, and they can be more feature. So I'm going to go mix up some epoxy, and yeah, work on that. Maybe I might take this edge off as well. We will see. So you've seen in the last video the very time-consuming process of cutting the mesh to fit these gaps. Now going to go and put some fibre. I've cleaned it up, sanded it just so it will take better, but put some fiberglass in here, really to hold the mesh, and then just build something for the sides. It's not really structural, they're not long enough to be a bother. I could just leave them as they are, but I do want the mesh, I want to tidy it up. So I'm going to cut some of the fiberglass actual sheeting, the material stuff, and then I will mix up a load of epoxy and dump it on, and then possibly have to do this in 2 phases, stick one side of the mesh in and then the other. It's okay to make a mess, because after this the next step state all tidying up. This is going to be not structural, as I say, it's just to put something here to build some body filler the other side, just so we could smooth it all out and make it look tidy. So yeah, doing this is a bit of a tell you what I'm going to do rather than tell you as I'm doing it, because obviously I have to wear a mask and it's going to take a while. So let's get on with it. So this is a day after Gimbals died. Great. Well, there we go, an outtake. The reliance on batteries these days, unbelievable. Gimbals died, so we're going back to shaky hand cam. I've not had dinner yet. So this is the day after. Fiberglass has all gone hard. I did leave the heater on it for a little bit because it's really cold outside. I do not want to be tacky and sticky. Again, this is not meant to be pretty. This is not finished product at all. This is provide some structure down these sides here so I can put filler the other side and hold the mesh in, which I've checked, can bang them from the other side. You might see my finger there. Not going anywhere, so I might do a little clean up just to take off these little spiky bits of glass. Same over there, that mesh is stuck, and it means I can go on the other side and start putting in the body filler to make the bit that you'll actually see look nice. Maybe one day I will come in here and make this look nice for the idea of like having the hood up at a car show or something, but I think it's unlikely. I think it's designed to look better from the other side. As we said earlier, totally aesthetic mods, really functional ones maybe being these when I put them in, but I'll go and do that, and then hopefully not too long I can get the bonnet painted with a view that it's not going to need to be a great paint job. As we said, this is just to give the wrap something smooth to adhere to, and go from there. So I think let's go do some body fillering. Now, effectively an update, because I've been doing bits off camera, largely sanding, which is very boring. The edges down here came out pretty nice. I've just put, you can see, the last little bit of filler in it just to fill up some holes that were ultimately left from bubbles, so maybe didn't mix it too much. Similarly down this side, but now you can get a very good idea of what we've been going for. So when that's cured and dried, I'll sand that to the right shape, and probably going to end up leaving this video here. This has had a, you can see I've got over all of the bits where the paint was peeling off. This is relatively smooth now, but don't quite have enough primer to do all of it, so I've ordered some more. I'll wait on that, and probably in just the next video, quick update, this is what it looks like. So the plan is sand that down, give the whole thing a higher grit sand, or lower grit, higher number, smoother, and once I've done that, give that bit of black paint, get a relative amount of black paint over everything else, give it some clear, because ultimately the wrap will need something to stick to. So I'll probably, beginning a next video or at some point in the next video, show you this is where it ended up, but you can use your imagination for now. And yes, this is the bumper. Gonna have probably a couple of days off now. You can look at me, I'm not 100% feeling great at the moment, so might have a couple of days not out here in the cold in the evening in the garage. So if you enjoyed that, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, follow along with the rest of the build, follow us on Instagram at Granty's Garage. Next video, I might have already started what we're doing, but it will be also using bits of stuff we've already got, and so far spent 0 custom pieces again. So subscribe, we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.